Have you ever felt overwhelmed after a stroke, unsure of what comes next, or whether you're taking the right steps? A patient once told me she didn't know what to focus on because everyone gave her different advice and none of it felt clear. And I want you to imagine this: your brain, quietly working behind the scenes, trying to heal, trying to rebuild, gently asking for your help, even when you can't feel the work it's doing. These 3 moments capture a truth many seniors face after a stroke. Recovery feels confusing, frightening, and lonely, even when you're surrounded by people who care. What I've learned over decades of caring for older adults is that most seniors misunderstand the recovery process. Many believe healing is automatic and that time alone will restore strength. Others think therapy is optional, or that a little dizziness, weakness, or trouble finding words is just part of normal aging. But none of these beliefs help the brain recover. In reality, the brain begins a remarkable process after a stroke, something called neuroplasticity. It's the brain's ability to reroute, rebuild, and create new pathways. But neuroplasticity is like a small flame. It needs consistent fuel. Early steps, simple habits practiced daily, and gentle repetition make an enormous difference in long-term progress. I've seen so many seniors slow their recovery without realizing it. Avoiding movement because they're afraid of falling, resting all day because they think their body is too fragile, hoping that speech or balance will return on its own. These myths don't make recovery easier, and they certainly don't make it faster. They leave people feeling stuck, frustrated, and unsure of their own bodies. You're not alone if you've felt this way. Many seniors in my practice felt lost, not because they weren't strong or capable, but because no one ever explained what truly matters during recovery. That's why this video exists. Today, I'll share the stroke recovery tips and the truth seniors must know to regain strength, protect independence, and prevent another stroke. You deserve clear guidance, hope, and a path you can trust. Stay with me, and in the next part, we'll explore exactly what your brain and body need to heal in the most powerful way. The science made simple. When we talk about stroke recovery, the very first thing I want you to understand is what truly happens inside the brain the moment a stroke occurs. I've seen many seniors believe that recovery is simply about getting stronger or waiting for the body to come back. But the truth is deeper and far more hopeful. After a stroke, the brain loses oxygen in one area, and that interruption causes cells to weaken or die. But the brain is not helpless. It begins a remarkable process of healing that combines rest, stimulation, and something called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to reroute functions, create new pathways, and rebuild communication between different regions. In many ways, it is your brain's second chance. Healing, however, is delicate. Think of the brain like a road after an earthquake. Some parts are cracked, some are blocked, and some need complete rebuilding. You wouldn't expect a destroyed road to fix itself overnight, and you wouldn't wait for a road to magically repair without workers, tools, and repeated effort. Your brain works the same way. It needs consistent signals from movement, speech, memory work, and daily routines to rebuild the pathways stroke has interrupted. Consistency matters more than intensity. 10 minutes every day can be more powerful than 1 hard hour once a week. Older adults recover differently than younger patients, and this is something many people have never heard explained clearly. As we age, circulation slows a bit. Arteries become stiffer. Muscles lose mass more easily. The body becomes slightly more sensitive to dehydration, and medications can influence how blood pressure responds to activity. All these changes mean the brain and body need gentler care, slower progression, and more consistent routines. A skipped week of therapy can set seniors back more than they realize, because the brain relies on steady repetition to keep new pathways alive. There is a healing cycle many doctors don't have time to explain in short appointments. A stroke creates inflammation in the brain. That inflammation can cause weakness and slowed movement. Slower movement reduces circulation. Reduced circulation increases the risk of another stroke. It's a cycle seniors often fall into without knowing it. But the beautiful truth is that early recovery habits break this cycle. Hydrating well, moving daily, Keeping blood pressure steady, eating low-sodium meals, and practicing simple exercises all help the brain receive more oxygen and create new neural connections. One of my favorite ways to explain this is through a simple analogy. Repetition is the language the brain understands. Every time you lift your arm, even if it feels weak, your brain is listening. Every step, every attempt to speak clearly, every effort to practice balance tells your brain, this pathway matters, keep building it. That's why small steps matter so much. The brain doesn't need perfection, it needs persistence. In the next part, we're going to explore the truths most seniors never hear about stroke recovery and the subtle warning signs that often go unnoticed, but can change everything. The truth doctors don't have time to explain. When it comes to stroke recovery, there are truths that many seniors never hear simply because medical appointments are rushed, overwhelming, or focused on immediate needs rather than long-term healing. Over the years, I've realized that the moments seniors struggle the most are often linked to things no one ever explained to them. Well, today, I want to walk you through the truths that matter most, in a way that feels clear, compassionate, and grounded in real experience. One of the biggest hidden challenges is recognizing silent warning signs. Many older adults experience dizziness, a sudden heaviness in the neck, or a wave of fatigue that seems to appear out of nowhere. Others have moments when finding the right word becomes harder, or when their vision feels pressured, just for a second. And far too often, these moments are brushed aside as just aging. But aging is not the whole story. These subtle symptoms often reflect unstable circulation, a temporary drop in oxygen to the brain, or even a tiny microstroke. The brain doesn't always scream when something is wrong. Sometimes it whispers. Another truth that rarely gets explained is how common mistakes can slow recovery without anyone realizing it. For example, many people become afraid to move because they worry about falling. That fear makes them stay still, but staying inactive increases stiffness, lowers circulation, and slows the brain's ability to repair damaged pathways. High-sodium meals, especially restaurant dishes, can create sudden spikes in blood pressure that push the brain into vulnerable territory. Skipping hydration may not seem dangerous, but even mild dehydration thickens the blood, making it harder for oxygen to reach delicate areas trying to heal. Rushing therapy is another hidden problem. Some seniors push themselves too hard, thinking intensity will bring results faster. Others do the opposite and go too gently, hoping their body will recover without effort. But recovery doesn't respond to extremes. It responds to patience, consistency, and repetition. The brain likes rhythm, not pressure. It likes small steps repeated with intention, not big steps taken with fear. Poor sleep plays an enormous role as well. When the brain is recovering, sleep is one of the moments when healing accelerates. Without enough of it, the brain struggles to create new connections. And then there is blood pressure, the silent partner in every stroke story. Many seniors believe their blood pressure is normal enough. But stroke recovery requires stability, not guesswork. Monitoring blood pressure morning and night reveals patterns that can protect the brain and prevent future damage. What makes these truths even more complicated is how dangerous certain combinations can be. Dehydration paired with high blood pressure is one of the most common triggers of recurring strokes. Salty meals paired with inactivity create a spike and crash effect that the brain cannot ignore. Stress and low sleep weaken the body's ability to regulate circulation, and too many medications can create unpredictable changes in blood flow that confuse the recovery process. None of this is meant to frighten you. Instead, it's meant to give you clarity. When you understand what the brain is trying to tell you, you can respond sooner and more confidently. You can prevent setbacks, support healing, and protect your independence. In the next part, I'll share real stories from my practice that show how powerful these truths are, and how much recovery can change when seniors finally understand what their bodies have been trying to say. Real cases from practice. Over the years, I've cared for countless seniors navigating stroke recovery. And while every story is unique, many follow similar patterns. What I've learned is that recovery isn't just about what happens in the hospital. It's about the quiet moments at home, the choices made each day, and the signals the body sends long before a major setback. Let me share 3 stories that have stayed with me, not because they were dramatic, but because they show how powerful awareness and small changes can be. I remember a woman in her early 70s who came to me with what she described as mild weakness in her right arm. She brushed it off as age catching up with her. The truth was that she had already begun adapting without realizing it, using her left hand more, avoiding certain movements, and telling herself she was simply tired. When I evaluated her, it became clear she was also dehydrated and eating meals high in sodium. Her brain was trying to heal, but it didn't have the support it needed. We made simple adjustments: consistent hydration, daily gentle movement, and a few minutes of targeted arm exercises. Within weeks, her strength began returning. She later told me she wished someone had explained these steps sooner. It wasn't complicated. It was just missing guidance. Then there was a man in his mid-60s with blood pressure that looked perfectly normal at home. He checked it once a day and assumed everything was under control. But one evening, after a salty restaurant meal and a long day of sitting, he experienced sudden dizziness. He went to bed thinking it was nothing, and by morning, he had suffered a mini-stroke. Thankfully, it was small, and with rapid treatment, he recovered well. But what stayed with him, and with me, was how preventable it had been. When we reviewed his home readings together, we realized he had never noticed the spikes that came after certain meals. No doctor had ever told him that sodium can cause delayed surges in blood pressure hours later. With a few lifestyle changes and better monitoring, he never experienced another episode. Another story that lives in my heart is of a woman who began losing confidence in her speech. She told me her words felt stuck, almost as if her mouth and brain were out of sync. Her family assumed it was normal aging, but I knew something deeper was happening. When we tested her, we found signs of multiple silent strokes, tiny ones, likely connected to dehydration, inconsistent blood pressure, and long periods of inactivity. She cried when she learned that her symptoms were not her fault. Once we started small daily speech exercises and gentle physical routines, she made more progress than she imagined possible. "I didn't know I could get better," she told me. But she could, and she did. Each of these stories carries the same message. The body whispers before it screams. Weakness, dizziness, confusion, speech difficulty. These are not annoyances to ignore. They are invitations. They are signals asking for care, attention, and change. When seniors honor those whispers, recovery becomes not just possible, but powerful. In the next part, we'll talk about what you can start doing today. Simple, encouraging steps that make a real difference in healing and long-term independence. What seniors can do today. Now that we've explored the science and heard real stories, I want to bring everything into the present moment. Recovery is not just something that happens in a clinic or during therapy sessions. It happens in your home, in your routine, in the small choices you make from the moment you wake up each morning. And the most beautiful part of all is this: you don't need perfection to make progress. You only need consistency and awareness. One of the most powerful tools you have is movement. Not intense workouts, not complicated routines, just gentle, steady movement. I've seen seniors transform their lives with 10 minutes of light walking, a few simple chair exercises, or the repetition of lifting an arm or leg at their own pace. Every movement you make sends a message to the brain. Keep this pathway open. It doesn't matter if you feel slow or unsteady. What matters is showing up every day, even for a little while. Movement rewires the brain, strengthens circulation, and reduces stiffness that can otherwise become a barrier to recovery. Alongside movement, daily routines play a tremendous role. Starting your morning with water helps wake up the brain and improves blood flow. A few minutes of stretching loosens tight muscles and prepares the body for healthier circulation. Checking your blood pressure in the morning and evening gives you a clearer picture of your body's patterns. I've met so many seniors who had no idea their blood pressure was fluctuating because they were only checking it occasionally. Those small spikes and drops matter. Keeping track helps you understand your body better and gives you a sense of control over your recovery. Food is another essential part of healing. Choosing low-sodium meals protects your blood vessels, while foods rich in omega-3s, magnesium, and potassium support the heart and brain. Fresh vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and plenty of hydration help keep the blood thin and flowing smoothly. Even small improvements, a lighter dinner, fewer packaged foods, an extra glass of water, make a meaningful difference in how your brain repairs itself. Let's talk about speech and balance, two areas that often take time to improve after a stroke. Many seniors feel frustrated when their words don't come out smoothly or their steps feel uncertain. But progress in these areas grows from repetition, patience, and gentle encouragement. Speaking slowly and practicing simple phrases out loud can help reconnect pathways. Breathwork improves control and clarity. Balance exercises like heel-to-toe walking or gentle head and eye coordination routines strengthen stability. I always remind my patients, slow progress is still progress. The brain needs steady reminders, not force. Stress management is also part of recovery, even though most people don't associate emotional health with stroke healing. Stress affects blood pressure, sleep, and inflammation. All three are critical for brain health. Gentle breathing exercises, moments of calm, staying connected with family or friends, and allowing yourself to rest can all increase the brain's ability to heal. And of course, one of the most important steps you can take is preventing another stroke. Recognizing early warning signs, keeping blood pressure controlled, staying hydrated, and following through with medication are essential. Many seniors don't realize that recovery and prevention go hand in hand. Every healthy choice you make protects not just today, but your independence and future quality of life. Before we continue, I want to pause for a moment. If this information is helping you understand your health better, please subscribe, like, and share Senior Health Daily. It truly motivates us to continue creating life-changing content for you, and it helps this message reach more seniors who need it. Recovery doesn't require you to be perfect. It only asks you to be present, patient, and willing. In the next part, we'll go through some important clarifications that can help remove fear, bring clarity, and give you confidence as you continue your healing journey. Essential clarifications. Before we close this part of the journey, I want to gently clear up some misunderstandings that often create unnecessary fear or confusion during stroke recovery. These clarifications are meant to bring you peace, not pressure, because when you understand what is happening in your body, you gain confidence instead of worry. The first truth is that not all weakness or dizziness means another stroke is coming. But every sudden change deserves attention. Your body is wise. It gives signals long before a crisis ever arrives. A moment of imbalance, difficulty finding words, or a wave of unexplained fatigue isn't always an emergency, but it is a sign to slow down and check in with yourself. Awareness is your strongest ally. Another important point is that every person heals at a different pace. I've met seniors who regained strength quickly, and others who took months before they felt consistent improvement. Neither path is wrong. Healing isn't a race. It's a personal journey shaped by your age, your health history, your daily habits, and the support you receive. Comparing yourself to others only adds stress, and stress makes recovery harder. What matters is steady progress, even if the steps feel small. One misconception I see often is the idea that therapy needs to be intense to be effective. That isn't true. The brain responds to repetition, not pressure. Simple exercises done daily can be far more powerful than long sessions performed once in a while. When you practice movement, speech, or balance with patience, your brain listens. It adapts, rewires, and strengthens the pathways you use most often. Gentle consistency wins every time. It's also essential to understand that fear doesn't protect you. Awareness does. Many seniors become afraid to move, afraid to stand, or afraid to push themselves even a little because they don't want to trigger anything. but in most cases, inactivity slows circulation, stiffens muscles, and makes recovery harder. Respect your limits, of course, but trust that your body is capable of rebuilding. You are stronger than you think. Finally, remember that progress can be slow and still incredibly meaningful. A clearer word, a steadier step, a smoother breath. These small victories are signs of healing. They are the brain's way of saying, "I'm still working for you." Celebrate them. Let them motivate you. Let them remind you that recovery is happening, even when it feels quiet or gradual. These clarifications are not meant to overwhelm you. They're meant to give you clarity, confidence, and calm. You don't need to know everything at once. You only need to take each day with awareness, patience, and courage. When you're ready, we'll move into the emotional closing, where we bring everything together with hope, gratitude, and strength. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want to pause and honor something truly meaningful. Your body has carried you through decades of life. It has walked you through storms and celebrations, through losses and victories, through moments of uncertainty and moments of joy. It deserves gentle care, patience, and deep gratitude. Recovery is not a punishment. It is an invitation to reconnect with the strength that has always been within you. Stroke recovery is never hopeless. Healing doesn't happen only in therapy rooms or hospitals. It happens in your kitchen, in your living room, in the quiet moments of morning, and in the choices you make each day. Small habits lead to powerful changes. A short walk, a glass of water, a few minutes of repetition, a low-sodium meal, a moment of rest. Each of these choices sends a message to your brain that you believe in your future and are actively protecting it. And I want you to hear this clearly. You are not alone on this journey. Senior Health Daily is here to guide you, support you, and walk beside you. My goal is for you to feel seen, understood, and empowered. You don't have to navigate recovery in the dark. Together, we can build strength, awareness, and confidence every step of the way. Every healthy choice you make today protects your independence tomorrow. It protects your clarity, your mobility, your peace of mind, and the life you want to continue living. Recovery doesn't demand perfection. It asks for heart, intention, and belief in your own resilience. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for choosing to learn, to heal, and to take care of yourself. If this video has brought you comfort or clarity, I invite you to subscribe to Senior Health Daily so we can continue this journey together. You deserve hope, strength, and a future filled with possibility. Your story is still being written, and there is so much more ahead for you.